let's get this show on road. So tonight what we're working on is finishing up the 96 valve clearance job. That it was a double check. We're also replacing the rocker arms. I actually had to replace 3 rocker arms in this thing. I did the first initial check and I didn't see anything, and it wasn't until I took out the cams that I noticed there was 3 opener rocker arms that were just dunsies. So we are going to be working on the exhaust of the horizontal cylinder. I think I need to double check, make sure I don't need to change any shims on that one. Actually, let me just go ahead and look real quick, because I do have them. Yeah, that one's so close, it's not worth it, but I do need to check one of the rocker arms. I think one of the rocker arms is also pretty worn, and I do have a replacement with me it's a good condition used one, but we'll see what it looks like once I get this cam out and I'm able to see it a little bit better. Let me move you guys. I think you guys have a decent view. Let's move this way just a little bit. There we go. You guys get to see what kind of I see. Sorry for the bouncing. What's up, man? All right, let's check this out. So first off, gotta remove this lower cam, and it's kind of tricky. You have to have a special tool to remove this pin that removes this rocker arm over, but all you truly need without the Ducati tool is a bolt with a washer, and it's a M5, and you do this top one, because this bottom one is the closing rocker arm, the top one is the opening one, and that's the one we need to move in order to get this cam to come out. It's not too bad. Everything I was reading on before I started working on these bikes was just nightmares, and everyone was so scared about it, but having worked on bikes for a while, this really isn't that bad. It's just different. And then I have a slide hammer. The one that Ducati makes and this other company that's on eBay, I forgot what they're called, but they make a really small slide hammer. It's tiny. But I've had this from previous builds, and this thing makes it short work. So just get this under there. And just tap it out. Let's see if that lets the rocker arm move enough. Yeah, don't put your head on that thing. And this is a nice Harbor Freight flashlight. So trying to make sure and get this thing to move over. Yeah, might as well. Guess I can get you guys over here. Sweet ninja moves. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get you guys to sit. Do a little twirl. Let's see, I'll plug you for a second. All right, I'm gonna unhook you from this dumb Chinese wobbly. You'll see it. How many threads are on this thing? Hey, you see this thing? This thing, piece of crap, and it bounces, and I just need to get a solid. I can probably just take that off and make it solid, but yeah, let's see if we can get you guys set up here. Maybe I can balance you on this hammer. You guys can see what I'm seeing. Do this. Maybe. Oh yeah, almost there. Let's see if we can move the wheel out of the way. There we go. Sweet. Nice. Yeah. Okay, where do you think you're going? There we go. Come on. You have one job, just stay where you are. Alright, hold on. Let me get you guys propped up better. And we'll go from there. Let's see here, let's try this. One of these maybe. Alright, let's see. Gotta get you guys a good view so you guys can see what's going on. Because if not, you'll just see me rolling around like an idiot. Alright, let's not roll around. What's up? What's the best beginner bike? I would say anywhere from Ninja 250s, that's Kawasaki Ninja 250, or their 300 range, or even the Ninja 650s. And the reason why I keep saying Ninja is Kawasaki is parts are very readily available and they're easy to work on. So it not only could be your first bike, but it could be your first bike to wreck and then work on. So, but yeah, Ninja 650s have a little bit more torque, but they're not so scary. But yeah, and what's wrong with this bike? This is an older bike. This is a Ducati. This is a year 2000 Ducati 996. Pretty much, it was the icon bike. You can kind of see the headlights there. You can see another one over there. That's a 748. That's the exact same motorcycle, but just a smaller engine. It looks exactly the same. Everything is exactly the same, except for the engine internals are a little bit different. But this guy is been a bike that I've wanted to work on for a while. And my friend actually has had one, and he had it stored in his office for 10 years. And he was like, hey, I know you rebuild bikes, and this thing hasn't been touched in a while. You want to rebuild it? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a service. The things that go up and down to let in fuel and then let out exhaust gases. I have to make sure these little shims, these little tiny pieces of metal, are the correct size in order for all that to work perfectly. But right now, I'm working on these rocker arms because I have to see this shaft. I have to get this camshaft out in order to have access to these shims. Let's see, can I prop that up? There we go. I think you guys can see that a little bit, yeah. But I have to get this rocker, or this camshaft with these lobes. You can see it turning. And when those lobes turn down, they push down on these rocker arms, and those are what open the valve. And then you can see these little circular things right there. Those are the shims. Those are the shims that help denote the clearances between everything. But right now, I have to get this rocker arm all the way over and off of this valve, so it needs to come over just a little bit more. It needs to come off of there. So I need to use the slide hammer and get that off a little bit more. Try that. Get it off? Not quite. Not yet. Need to go a little bit more. Let's see here. Ooh, that sounded good. Sounded like good contact there. Oh, did it come off? Let's see. I can't see. Nope, still there. I might have to take this pin. Some of these rocker arms, they will move, but they won't move as far as you need them to go. So you have to take the pin all the way out, which isn't a bad thing. It's just, I like keeping things together. Kind of like when you take apart something, you put the bolts back in where they need to go instead of just putting them in a pile of screws. Nope, it's probably gonna have to come out. All right, so much for hoping. There it goes. See, this is the pin. As I drop it, it rolls away. That's the pin that holds in the rocker arm. This guy is a pin that holds in a rocker arm that sits in there. Maybe get a paper towel, wipe this off, make sure it's got no grit on it. Okay, I'll show you the rocker arm here in a second. Rocker arm left and right. There we go. That was nasty. Alright, yeah. Last night I laid down and I laid on that thing. And it sucked. But yeah. There's didn't even see you down up there at the bottom. Just working on old Ducatis. Fun stuff. But yeah, you can actually see the rocker arm. It's falling out right now. See it right here. But first, to get the cam out, because you're supposed to only take this thing out just a little bit, and then this is supposed to move out of the way so we can take the cam out, the camshaft. But I need to get the bolts out of there to get that out. So, there we go. Is there a little bit of glare? Yeah, a little bit, not too much. Is that focused? Yeah. All right, but yeah, so there's 2 screws here on this side right here. Easy access once you got everything off. So you can see the camshaft digging in there. Once I get these 2 bolts out, I move this plus that rocker arm and everything comes out. And then I'm able to look not only at the rocker arms to see if they're damaged, and now that that one kind of peeked its head out, see it's got a chip on it, which is good because I only have 1 left of a used set that I can replace them with. So, but yeah. You guys looking to get a new bike anytime soon? Anybody in the market? I know you're asking about what's the best beginner bike, but if you're in the market, I recommend waiting till winter time, wherever that is, wherever you are. Oh, there we go. Looky there. Ta-da. So you can see here, this is the rocker arm. It'll focus. And see that little chip? Don't know where it'll focus or not. That little chip is what these Ducati style bikes, this 916 style bike, since they all look the same, they're famous for this because they don't exactly know why, but this chrome coating flakes off. And if it flakes off, it can start flaking off more and more, and it actually gets down to the base metal, which is a steel. And if that steel starts getting rubbed and that gets in your oil lines, it can really clog things up. But this one isn't too bad. I can show you guys another one that's pretty serious, but I'm glad I checked. Let's see, let's do a quick check. Get the cam out. Let me grab a towel. I don't know how much oil is gonna come out. I let everything drip out, but there might be a little extra that comes out. Trying not to have too many oil marks on the floor. Let's see here. Okay, so got this. Cam is out. Let's go wiggle, wiggle. Rotate it a certain way so it avoids everything. That comes right out. And that is the camshaft. It's got the 2 lobes. This lobe is for the openers, which push the valves open, and this lobe is for the closers that close the valve. Because in a normal motorcycle, there's a spring that closes the valve, and there's only this type of lobe. There's only opening lobes. But with these Ducatis, they don't have springs. It's all mechanical. So you have a valve that, or a lobe that pushes the valve open, and a lobe that pushes another rocker arm that pulls it shut. So that's one of the camshafts. Let's see. Now we can see the other rocker arm and see how that guy's doing. Let's see, let's check it out. Let's go up in here. Maybe you guys can see that too. Let's see. No, that one looks good. I don't know if you guys can see that one. That's good news. That only had 1 left. Perfect. But you can see in here, see the little thing that looks like a mushroom cap right there? That is the shim. See if I can get you there. There we go. That's the shims. There's 2. There's the opening shim, and the bottom one that's a little bit bigger is the closing shim. And you can see the 2 different types of rocker arms. The one on top is the one that pushes down and opens the valve, and the one on bottom that looks like a tuning fork or has a U shape that grips the bottom, that is the closing one. And you can see on the back side of it, that's what it pushes against to close it. But yeah, I think both of these are in spec. I checked them. They're only, what is it? A 1/10 of a millimeter? No, not a 10th. It's a 100th of a millimeter off. So it's not perfect spec, but it's good enough for me. I'm not trying to get this exactly perfect. Maybe if this was a race bike and I was competing, I might want to do that, but Now, I'll just leave it at that, but what I do need to do is replace that one rocker arm that came out, which is easy because that's the one I have to remove anyways. But let me get you guys set up over here real quick. Let's see. All right, let's see. I don't want to set you guys on. I'll just get you guys over here. I'll just take you over here. Handheld. So see, this is the rocker arm that has a little bit of defect. You can see that little almost triangle shape on the corner. Look at that versus this one. You can see this doesn't have any flake or defects on it. It's just got a little bit of a rub on it. Whereas these guys, this one's the worst one, worst offender. I had to replace. It not only chewed through the chrome, it then started to chew through the, I think this has nickel and then the base metal. So it has nickel and then here is steel. And it looks polished, it looks clean, but that steel can flake because it's cast, it's not billet. So it can flake really harshly. And that's also what can clog up oil lines, oil passages, all kinds of stuff. Get in valve seats, start tearing up things. So when your rocker arms on these style Ducatis start looking like this, you got to change them, because if not, it's like a ticking time bomb for issues to arise and it gets expensive. But yeah, glad I checked. This guy, it looks pretty fine, but that little chip, it's kind of like having a cavity. It might not feel so bad right now, but in a very short amount of time, it'll start hurting. And then you have to spend a bunch of money for a root canal and all that jazz. So actually, I need to grab a few more things. I'll show you guys what I'm doing right now. So if you guys need assembly gel, if any of you guys are crafty out there and do a lot of engine work, you might remember that red gel that you typically see in motor builds. They put that gel on there. Well, it's not gel, it's pretty much lube. The problem with that lube, when it's put on the motor and you're assembling it, it only takes about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes for it to mainly run off, and there's only a tiny bit left on there. And then within a couple hours, there's really nothing on the parts that you've assembled. So most of the guys rebuilding motors put it all on there and then they let the motor sit for a day. Well, on first startup, what that lube is supposed to do is it's supposed to protect the engine from dry wear, because there's no lubrication for the whatever couple 10-20 seconds before the oil gets there. This stuff I found is a gel, and it does not run off, which is kind of awesome. I found it through car racing engine builds, and I was like, wow, this makes so much more sense, because with these bikes, this is a hobby. I don't tear down an engine, rebuild it within an hour. So if I rebuilt an engine, I would have to let it sit for a long time. And then all that assembly gel that's supposed to, or assembly lube, the red stuff that's supposed to protect your engine from initial wear, this stuff is much better. So when I'm putting new stuff in, like I'll need to put some lubrication in there where the pin goes, as well as the contact point. And this gel, I'm doing this one-handed, but it's like a golden amber gel. You can kind of see it come out. And it's almost, I mean, it's a gel, but it's a sticky gel. It's not like a hair gel where it's like a gel, but it breaks very easy. It's definitely a goo, which helps it stick to everything. So I put that on the rub faces as well as the back. That's actually the rising for it. And then I'll kind of wiggle this in there. I'm gonna put this on the pin as well. So let me get a little bit more. Do this all one hand. Pen over here. I think the pen's over here. But yeah, if you guys know anyone or do any rebuilds at all, or working on cars and you have to take apart something that needs to be re-lubricated, this isn't something like an additive that you put in oil. This is a true like first startup after an engine build, or first startup after a major service. Like this isn't called an engine rebuild. This is just a major service of checking all the clearances, taking some things apart. But you are taking apart things that rely on lubrication. So if there's not lubrication there initially on first startup, all that stuff's gonna get pretty heavy wear just from that, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 seconds of running without lubrication. So yeah, so we got that. That's good. Let me get you guys set back up. Nope, jacking things up. What's up? What's up, Adrian? What's up? All right, so I'm gonna put you guys back on your pillow. You guys can see what's going on. There we go. So we have the pin. Everything looks good in there. We're gonna put the rocker arm back in. I know all these valves are in the correct clearances, or as close as I can get them. And then we will go from there, but yeah. That lubrication on there that stays. And then we'll put this pin back in there. It's not too hard to do this. It's, I always tell people, I know how to do that. It's really just adult Legos. Once you've rebuilt something once, or I take that back. If you have a past of like wanting to take things apart to figure out how they work, this is very easy. A lot of people have that with computers or just all kinds of things. For me, I was interested in all kinds of things. And then slowly but surely, I built up to start taking apart my bikes and work. And sure enough, it's not that hard. You just consult the owner's manual or whatever it is, the mechanic's manual, where it tells you literally step by step what to do. It's not that hard. So if anyone's out there is worrying about their first motorcycle and like, oh no, the maintenance will be so expensive, I don't know how to do that. Watch a couple of YouTubes. That's where I learned. I would say 90% of what I'm doing right now is just YouTube. Come on, this pin isn't wanting to go in. All right, gonna have to give it a few love taps because it's kind of in there, but it requires just a little bit more persuasion. I don't know if you guys see that. Yeah, you guys can see that. But yeah, we're just trying to put this pin back in to get this rocker arm back in, because this pin holds in this rocker arm that goes up and down and pushes there. But yeah, I gotta unscrew this. This screw is what holds, or is what I use with a slide hammer to get it out. But since it's out, I don't need it anymore. But I do need to hammer it in just a tiny bit. Actually, you know what? We'll just leave that there. Just a few love taps. Let me get some of this lube on there. That slides a little bit easier in. There's nothing bad with hammering in. These are just really tight tolerances. So, not hurting anything, and these things are actually supposed to be hammered out and kind of hammered back in, but it's very light taps. Make sure everything's good in there. This thing's moving all right. That's lining up. All right. And also there's air pressure too, because air gets stuck. Since everything's lubricated in here, there's oil all in it. I'm trying to hammer this pin into a crevice that has oil in it, and it creates an oil lock or a vapor lock. So it's got, I have to pressurize the air to get it out. So sometimes, let's see here if I can wiggle this. We're gonna move this and move to the other option, which is just a 1/4 inch drive end to kind of push that in. I don't have anything really soft to push it in. I can do this. This will be fine. All right, I'm gonna have to lay you guys down while I use the tool at hand. Let's see if I can get you right there. There we go. Sweet. All right, let's see. So we got butt end of the screwdriver. You're not going to move. I don't like using metal on metal, but these are pretty tight. There we go. That's in. So everything feels good there. Alright, everything lines up. But the funny part is you hammer it in all the way to make sure everything lines up, and then you gotta take it right back out. So that's the thing with double checking stuff. Gotta hammer it in, make sure it works, then hammer it out and make sure you can get everything back in. Alright, here we go. So anybody have their own bike out there, or are you guys just watching motorcycle content? I know the feeling if you're just watching because of motorcycles, because even though I own them and I rebuild them and work on them and make my own YouTube videos, any spare time I have, I'm always watching some bike be rebuilt or some motorcycle review. I'm always watching something motorcycle related. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can see the pin coming out. There we go. Let's see if I can move the rocker arm over. Yes, I don't have to take the pin out. It went all the way down. Okay, that's good. So now we'll get the camshaft and we'll put that right back in there. And then once that's in there, then we'll move the rocker arm in the correct position. And job's done on that. That rocker arm's completed. That is all done. So perfect. All right, let's see here. Go get the rocker or the camshaft. I'm gonna put some of that assembly gel on there, on the camshaft as well. Yeah, and it's funny, I've done this valve job once before already on this bike, but the guy who owns it, he had some backfiring on the intake, so I was like, this is my first time working on Ducatis, so I'm gonna double check everything. Because it made me nervous, like, yeah, it's backfiring. I was like, what? Everything lines up, everything should be in spec, everything should be good. What do you mean it's backfiring? So, that's the whole deal with this. And you'll see the first video of this bike, it's already out on my YouTube channel if you guys wanna go watch it. It's nothing too exciting, it's just the kind of overview of the shape this bike is in, as well as just kind of its first wash to see what's going on with it. All right, so we got that cleaned up. And that's cleaned up. Trying not to get too much oil on these pulleys. You'll see these pulleys right here. This motorcycle is belt driven, or at least the motor and mechanics are belt driven, not the drive of it. But yeah, you don't want to get too much oil on there because, yeah, you spray it down with brake cleaner and clean it up, but it's always just kind of in the back of your mind, like, is there oil on there that's going to make the belt slip off or something? You can see camshaft going up in there. Here we go. That's better. That's better. All right, you guys can see that, right? Yeah. Hard chrome? Yeah, it's let's see here. CR250 is one of the best beginner. Oh, I mean, dirt bikes. Yeah, dirt bikes is always a good way to go. CR250. I mean, I learned on a little tiny kid's 50cc motorcycle when I was like 16. No, I take it back. I was 13. Just kidding. And then I slowly moved my way to bigger dirt bikes, and then got on a Ninja 250, and yeah, that was pretty much it. But yeah, I mean, dirt bikes are good, but if you're not in the country, don't ride them in the street. It's not worth it. It's sketch. Off-road tires don't do well on pavement. But yeah, let's see. What's up, Logan? Horsepower, hard chrome? Yep, I think so. I assume so. It's chrome, but it's not hard enough because it flakes off, and so we have to go through and replace these rocker arms. Oh, you can kind of see that one. And they flake off, and once those start to flake off, then the underlying steel starts to flake off, and it just gets nasty. Yeah, what's up, Dallas? And yeah. Desmotronic, yep. Yes, sir. This is actually my first time playing with this. I've messed with only Japanese bikes, all inline motorcycles or inline four motorcycles. So this is a whole new world for me. It's been fun because this bike has been a poster bike when I was like, what? I was 10? yeah, I think it was 10 or 11. I had the Ducati 998 on my wall, bright red. So that's the thing with these Ducatis, this 916 style. They're, it's just the motor's a little bit bigger. Suspension is different. We have different wheels, but the actual overall design is pretty much exactly the same. Oh shit, is my phone dying already? The phone's already giving me, hey, you're running out of battery. There we go, got you guys plugged in. There we go. But yeah, I had this thing as a poster bike. But yeah, let's get these. All right, so now this is in, and now I can move that. You can see this rocker arm right there. Let's see, I'll show you guys. See that rocker arm? See how it's off to the left? Or my left, y'all's right, I don't know. But pulling this pin allows me to move it around. So now I have to get it back in the correct position. Stay there. I have to get it back in the correct position so it will run. So that goes up. Gotta move the lobes. Oh. Here it goes. Here we go. And over. Double check. I'm actually using the viewfinder of the phone to see what I'm doing, but I better check. It's never good to just rely on what you see on a display. All right, there we go. And you'll see that the chrome part here is a little bit to the left, but there's actually the underside, the actual pushing side is coated for the actual actuating of the valves. Get some of this oil off. All right, so that's good. It's lined up, make sure that's in all the way. And Bob's your uncle. So, there we go. We are good. But now, since we have a new rocker arm in, I have to check the clearances now on that. Because I don't know what bike this came from. It's a used rocker arm, but everything's a little bit different. They try to make them the same at the factory, but everything's a little bit different. So what I'm gonna do is I have to tighten down, put the 2 bolts in this camshaft, put those in, snug them up, and then re-measure not only the closing, the opening shim, but also the closing shim. So I'm gonna hammer back that pin, hammer this pin back in, and then we'll have to do it all over again. Because you can't just leave things untightened or apart when you take the measurements, because just like anything, once you tighten up everything, things shift, things kind of move around a little bit. So yeah, let me go ahead and get this pin in there. Like I said before, I don't really like metal on metal, but that's all right. I'm just moving a little bit. All right, that's all the way in. Let's put in our little 5mm Allens that hold in the camshaft. Oh, here we go. Let's get those lined up. Yeah, come on. And there we go. Man, I need a new 1/4-inch drive. This thing has so much slack. I don't know if you guys see that. It's like see that? There's so much slack in it, so it takes me forever to screw something in. It's ridiculous. Any recommendation on tool brands out there? You guys enjoy a certain brand? These are just these tools they're Husky, which I think comes from Home Depot. I think Home Depot is Husky. But whoa, it's coming down outside. Let's see. Hold on a second. Gotta clear out some threads. I had some old thread locker in there. Let's try that. So you guys have any tool recommendations out there? Leave a comment. Let me know what ones you like. I've been really eyeing Gear Wrench because I've watched a couple episodes of, or not episodes, but videos of a guy a channel called Project Farm. That guy's funny. He does a really good job just doing some kind of redneck testing on tools and all kinds of stuff. But he really kind of comes to I mean, a very modest but honest conclusion with most of them, because all the testing isn't very ambiguous. It's, did the tool work, or did the tool not work in a certain, like a ratchet? How much play did it have? Can it withstand a certain amount of force before it breaks? And you test all of them with just basic info that you should have, and cuts through all the marketing. And it's just, I love that guy. He's the reason why I buy a lot of stuff. Like, I make sure to use that guy's Amazon links and stuff, because he gives so much value for his videos, and he's not sponsored. He stays unsponsored, and it's just so fun to watch him. All right, so anyways, that rocker arm is back in, that new one. Remember that old one's all jacked up. Rocker arm's in, cam's in. So now with that new one, we have to measure it now. So you gotta get the feeler gauges. I don't know if you guys know what feeler gauges are. They're just skinny little shims of metal. But hopefully everything's in spec and I don't have to change any valves. That would be super cool, and I don't have to do anything. So let's see if I can get some more light there for you guys. Yeah, maybe like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure two things. I'm going to measure the clearance between the rocker. Let's see here. There we go. Measure the clearance between the rocker and the opening shim, and then that's going to be one clearance check. And then I'm going to put the Allen in between the rocker arm and the camshaft and push the rocker arm down, which measures the clearance of the closing shim, this bottom shim. And that is measured by this closing rocker arm down here. This is the opening one, that's the closing one. But it's a little weird. There's some other techniques that people use that they take a socket and they push down on the rocker arm, but it's a tiny corner piece that you're trying to put a socket on and put a lot of pressure on. And yeah, I found this guy, I forgot what his channel is, but he mentioned using an Allen key to push down the rocker arm and get the clearances that way. So we're gonna do that real quick. Let me see if I can get this light there. All right, so in a perfect world, the opening clearance, or the what they call the unloaded clearance, meaning I'm not pushing on anything, should be, what is this one? I think this one's 10, or maybe it's 15. I think this one's 15. So we'll just start with 10, see what we get. All right, so we just take the shim, or this is called a feeler gauge, and we're gonna put it in between or below that rocker arm and the shim. And there's not much resistance there, it's not bad. Let's try, and I say, when I say a number, I'm always doing in millimeters. I'm not an SAE guy. Everything I use is metric. So this is 0.13 millimeters, 0.13, little something there. We will go until we hit complete resistance. So this is 15.15. A little something there. I think that's the actual money making, or the actual preferred measurement right there is 0.15. Let's see how 0.18 does. 0.18. There's a little resistance. You can kind of see it juddering. Judders just a little bit. Get that. It judders just a little bit. Thinking this is like a 19. And the next one up is 0.20. I have a feeling 0.20 is not going to fit. It fits. That's interesting. Got a little resistance. Do I have the cam lobes in the right spot? Hold on a second. The cam is supposed to be right there. Yeah, it's still going in. Let's see about this side. Yeah, no, it doesn't go out. So we're at 20, so I'm definitely going to be needing to replace a shim on that. All right, 23.23, or yeah, 0.23, yeah. Anybody ever done these shims before? All right, so we're at 0.23, that's pretty big. We're going in still? Yeah, we still got room. Right there.
Yep. All right, let's try 25. 25.25. We're just slowly working our way up. This 2 shims. Always jack up and end up putting 2 shims or 2 feelers. Oop, oh, there we go. Now we got some heavy resistance yet. That is. Yeah. It's not too bad, but it's definitely resistance. Let's go to 0.28. Just confirm that 0.28 stops. Yeah, see that? 0.28 does not go in. It does, but it does not want to go in, so it's between 2.5 and 2, or how do I say 2? It's a 0.23 or 0.25. So let's see, 0.25. Let's see how that feels. Let's see here. Goes in, but there's definitely some resistance. Yeah, I don't like that. See how it kind of shudders. It has good lubrication on it, so it's not a lubrication thing. That's 2.3. It's supposed to be smooth with light drag. Yeah, that feels. I like 0.23 better. So that's the first measurement we gotta get. Is that one? That 0.23. Now we have to get the closing shim. So that requires we put an Allen key right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'll bring it in, kind of show you a little bit more. But all right. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little section on the rocker arm that isn't chromed, and it's the extension for the bottom side, and that's where we're gonna rest this small Allen key. I think this Allen key is a number 3. Let's see, what is this? This is a number. Guess the tools are cheap enough that they don't number them. All right, well anyways, so what you do is take the Allen key, put it on that unchromed part, make sure the opening lobes are pointing kind of out and up to the top of this, and you wiggle that, kind of wedge it in to where you see a little bit of a push down. Ooh, that feels tight. That doesn't feel like there's much movement there. That might be tight on the lower one. So let's go with, let's try 20. Let's just start there, see what we get. So what I'm measuring right here. Oh, no, I think we got quite a bit of room. Just kidding. So what do we say? That one's 23, so this should be pretty big. Should be like 30. So you typically want this closing one to be 0.1 or 1/10 of a millimeter bigger. So right now I can't get it in there, but I have to depress. There's a spring in here that I have to depress to get the actual measurement. So 0.33 is the happy number. That would be 10 more. Let me, see, this is the sketchy part. If I can get it to, it feels okay. Oh, nope. Come on. Let's see if I can get this here. All right, something like that. That's gonna be a good position. So I'm gonna try the other side and do this. It's kind of a crowbar effect that I'm doing to utilize the camshaft. So you can see that little bit of movement. I think you guys can see it. I'm not sure, but you can see a little bit of movement right here, and that is what's pushing down the rocker arm against its spring. So I gotta do this one-handed with this thing. It's treated like a switchblade. All right, we did 33, had some room. Let's do 35. 35. All right. Again, we're measuring in between the lobe And the rocker. Ooh, hold on a second. Let that go in. Yeah. A little bit of resistance. I got a little bit. If I can get it to hold still. Alright, there's a little bit of resistance. Let me see if I can get this in on it, because this does a better point of leveraging the rocker arm. Let's see if I can get this in there. There's a little bit of resistance, but not too bad. So that's 0.35. 0.35. So next up would be 0.38. Let's see how you're gonna do. See if you fit in there. But again, this is, if any of you guys have ever had a motorcycle and you've ever taken a motorcycle in to get it serviced, and you're like, oh my God, why does a valve clearance check cost so much? Well, it is easier on an inline four, but it's just tedious. Like, all valve clearance checks are tedious. And if you do have to replace valves, it's like this, where you have to get deep into the engine. Oh yeah. No. That's at 0.38. See, oh, come on, come back here. There we go, something like that. Get that in there, like that. There we go, that's depressed. Oh my God, right when I have it perfectly, the feeler gauge always slips out of my hands. So you gotta really have everything lined up perfect. Yeah, no. I'm gonna say that's so 3.8. We said it was what was next one? 15, 14. Sorry, I'm just mumbling over here, trying to remember. It was a 0.35. And let's see. So that was a 0.35 for the closing shim distance, or the loaded, what they like to call the loaded, because you have to do some subtraction. You have to subtract the opening shim from the closing shim one. So that was 35, and then the opening we thought was a 23. Let me check 25 again, because that would be convenient if that's 25. All right, so that's 0.25. Let's see here. All right, come on. Let's see. I mean, that does feel pretty good. It goes in there pretty smoothly. Let's see here. Actually, not really. Right, now it's going in there really smoothly. Right, let's try that. Lift that up a little bit. The lobe has got to be like that. I'm pushing on the lobe here. You got to watch out. You can't go too much to the right, or else you'll hit this closing lobe. And then you get resistance. You're like, oh man, it's not even going in there. But it's actually not too bad. So that's 0.25. This is point, what is it, 10, so 0.28. What's 0.28 feel like? Again. Yeah, no. That doesn't feel good. Actually, I think that's a 0.25. So that means this has a correct, it has a correct closing shim, because there's a 0.10 difference, because that's the valve clearance you need is 0.10 of a clearance on the closing. But I just need to change this guy, because it's at 0.2. It needs to be at it's at 0.25. It needs to be 10 lower. It needs to be at 0.15. So if this is a 0.25. We need to go down 2 shim sizes to replace that one. So yeah. There we go. Ta-da. Hope you guys stuck with me for that boring numbers lesson. But yeah. So essentially, I'm gonna go write this down. You guys can hang out there for a second. Just so I don't forget the numbers. But that is the left side. Left side, the need a rocker. What do we say? The new loaded was 0.35, and the new unloaded was 0.25. So let's see how this goes, because it needs to be at 15. And that makes that 10. So if I replace the top one, it should not affect the closing rocker size. So we will see, but we gotta get that shim out. So all that work that we did of putting the camshaft back in, we have to take it all the way back out. So that means hammering out that pin, hammering out this pin, this guy right here, hammering this pin out, taking these 2 bolts out, moving the rocker. Quit bitching at me. Every time I move the phone around, it's like, you're in the wrong orientation. But yeah, we'll hammer out that pin, move this rocker over, and now we'll expose that top shim is the one that I'm gonna replace. So you guys are gonna have a low view of it, but that's what I'm doing. Let's see. Let me see if I can get the flashlight to show some more stuff. There we go. All right, so we're gonna put that screw, this guy, back in the pin, pull the pin out, here's a screwdriver. By the way, this is like one of the only bolts that I have that's a Phillips head, and I absolutely despise Phillips heads. They strip out so easily. So if you're ever working with bolts, or if you're replacing bolts, use an Allen head or a star head. Something other than, I mean, even a flat head is good, but those suck too. But use something other than a Phillips head. I absolutely despise Phillips head. I don't know where the Phillips head came from. I don't know if it was America or Europe or whatever, but whoever invented them, I'm not a big fan. All right, there we go. Let's see if we can move that rocker arm over so we lift it. Let's see. Does it come off? A little bit more. Maybe a little bit more. Let's see if I can do it without that. Let's see, just a tiny bit more. Let's see. Come off? Oh yeah. I think. It feels like it came off. What do you guys think? Did it come off? And what I mean by come off, I meant, is it off of the closing shim? Nope. It is not. Gotta come out just a tiny bit more. I'm trying to wiggle it out. Nope. It doesn't want to. Damn it. That's what I get for trying to be lazy. It'll work. It just comes out. It just takes a little bit more. There we go. Let's see. See if I can bounce it. Come on. Come off there. Probably gonna have to take the pin all the way out again. I don't really like taking the pin out all the way because it's such a tight tolerance that you have to hammer it out. You're wearing down that snug fit tolerance by hammering something out all the time. Okay, let's see. Nope. All right, it's gotta have to come out. Well then, that's okay. So, anybody else looking into getting into motorcycles or wrenching on their own motorcycles? If you're getting your own motorcycle, what would you get? What are you looking at? Are you just gonna go straight balls to the wall and get like a brand new BMW S1000, or would you be sensible and get some sort of Ninja 250, some sort of beginner bike? Because because I've known quite a few guys that just go out and buy the latest and greatest super bike that's on the market. Let's see, can I get this out? No, I have to take this out. What are you guys gonna get? All right, sweet. Camshaft is coming out. Got the 2 bolts to get it out. Camshaft, and then we'll take out this rocker arm. See that kind of got a dangle in there. It's kind of precariously. But hopefully, I'm shooting for getting everything back together and put together before 12, because I need some sleep. And I can only work on stuff when my little one is asleep. All right, let's see here. So now that those are out, the pin's out, I'm just gonna rotate this to clear the rocker arm, and then I'll wiggle out the camshaft. And that comes out. This is the rocker arm. That's the thing that pushes up and down, or this one is typically, or is down. I don't need to take this out because I'm just grabbing that. I'll just take it out just so I have room. Again, it's just one of those things I don't like taking things fully apart if I don't have to. Okay. Yeah, that's the rocker arm. I guess it's a good thing I'm cleaning out all this. There's quite a bit of what do you call it, thread locker on here, because the first time I built this I thought everything was good, but I actually needed to redo it. So anyways, so trusty handy dandy magnet, and we're going to get out that top opener shim, and you see, easy as that. Ta-da! And now we're going to go measure this shim, find out what size it is, and we're going to go make it bigger by 1/10 of a millimeter. So it goes from 0.25 to 0.15, and 0.15 is the correct measurement that we need. So I'm gonna bring you guys over here. Let's see here. Let's get you guys. Look at the mess over here. Let me put this in my pocket. Get you guys on this cheap stand. You're gonna do a little twirl. All right. For you who do not like being spun around, close your eyes. All right, let me plug you back in. Bring you along on field trip to the shim box. Shim box, that sounds weird. Anyways, over to my workbench. Already got all the shims and measuring tools we need. Oh man, this stand is a piece of crap. Alright, there we go. So, let's see if I can get you guys orientated right. Okay, work with me here. Come on, sorry. Please hold. Do. Alright, tightening this thing. Come on. Alright, after this, I'm going to be getting a better stand. Something that's adjustable, but I can still get things done. Alright, sweet. There we go. You guys can see everything. Sweet. Okay. So now, we get out that top shim. I got the measurements down here. This is our nice box of shims I got from Desmo Times. They're a company that's specialized in these bikes, and they only make parts, reproduction parts, and just tools and stuff to help with this style of bike. Because this bike ranged from, I think it was like 1996 to 2003, I think. So a pretty good year spread. Anyways, we have to find out what size this is. So to do that, you have your micrometer. And I guess it's always good practice to always zero it out. All right, and this is your large adjustments, this is your fine adjustments. And it's zeroing out, okay.
So large adjustments to open it, and put the shim in there. See what we got. All right. Again, large adjustments, get it closed, get close, and then looks like we got, and everything's not perfect, but we got 2.90. So we're gonna call that a 2.90 opener. I think you guys can see this one here. So these are the openers, these are closers, and that's what I was talking about. I'll show you what a closer looks like. Closer looks like this. Closer looks like that. Completely different than this guy. A little bit bigger, but they set into each other. What was this one before I fuck it up? 315. 315 is right there. There we go. All right, so this is a 2.90. So I need it to be 2 shim sizes larger. So I need a 3.0, but let's write that down just so I know. So this is the left side was, no, this wasn't the left side, it was the right side. I'm jacking this up. So these are fine. I'm gonna say these are fine. I didn't change those. These were good, but it needed a rocker. Sorry, I'm writing notes on here. This was 0.35. This one was 0.25. So that made that 0.10. So that all checks out. Okay, except for this guy. So we're making that. The opener shim size is 2.90. And what we need is a 1/10 bigger, so that's 2 shim sizes up. So we got one is 9.5, the next one is 3, and that will give us the 1/10 of a millimeter closer that we need, because we need it to go from 2.5 to 1.5. So that would be a 3.0. New opener shim size is 3.0. So that should put that right on the money at 0.15 when we do the measurement again. So let's see, do we have an opener? Yes, we do. It's always scary because like this kit only comes with a few and I've re-shimmed this whole bike. So let's put this 2.9 back. Let's put this in this new home for whatever rebuild. Yeah, there's a couple 2.9s in there. All right, let's double check. Never trust what's on the shim. This shim, yeah. See, it says it right there. I don't know if you can see that. It says 3.0. But always check. You don't know. Could be a misprint or a misdesign. There we go. There we go. 3.006. But it is correct. So take this guy, put a little bit of lube on him. Again, I always mention these guys, but if I can show you that glare. Driven racing oil, GP1 assembly gel. If you guys have worked on cars or anything and you use that red assembly lube, yeah, I don't recommend it because after about 15 minutes, it's run off. After about an hour or so, it's completely gone off of the part. So I highly recommend this gel. It's very sticky and it'll stick to this surface. It won't just run off. So that's one thing I highly recommend getting is if you work on any sort of car or anything. It's getting the proper assembly lubrication, which in my case, I think the best idea is this gel. I really like this company. They don't make much stuff for motorcycles, but that's okay. I got what I need. So now, what we do is go back, put this on the thingamabob. Let's get you guys back over there. All right. Who's tuning in? Oh, we got 33 people in the room. What's up, guys? Yo, Stormtrooper. Everything's mirrored. Yeah, it is, I guess. That's weird.
Well, anytime I mess with the front camera, it always does that. All right, let's get you off this. You guys are gonna go for another loop-de-loop round to get you off this cheap stand. Let's not drop the all-important shim. Let's see here. Get you guys back on your nice little pillow to watch the awesomeness. Wow, this thing fucking threaded on there. But yeah, don't buy one of these. It's a cheap piece of crap. Anyways, there's y'all's bed for this evening. All right. Yep. There we go. Ta-da. There we go. Yeah. Got it. Boom. Sweet. All right. So now, did I forget my magnet? Fuck it. It'll be fine. Just put it in there. We're doing it live. All right. So what I'm doing is just putting the shim right back on top of the valve right there. Just pushing that right back in. It's nice new home. All right, so that's in there. So that should be the correct clearance now. Once I put the camshaft back in and then tighten everything down, I'll recheck measurements just to make sure. And like I said before, that's what takes so long with these jobs is you have to put everything in and you have to double check. Measure it all again. Sometimes when you tighten everything, it's not correct. So that's the thing that sucks about doing a valve job is sometimes it's off. Even when you did everything right, it's off. I need another napkin, another shop towel. Because you know, I'm a man. We only use shop towels, not napkins. Alright. Let's see here. Ta-da-da-da-da-da. And you guys will see off to the side me installing the cam there. Anyways, so what I gotta put back in first is the pin, and it's got some lube on it with the rocker arm. Again, like I said, this is the new rocker arm that doesn't have the chrome flaking off. It's used, but it's used in good condition. And these things brand new, I think they're like 100 and, I think it was like 160 with shipping per rocker arm. And I found a good deal on a set that was 85 per rocker arm, but they were used. So I was like, oh yeah, we're doing that. We are not messing around with that brand new stuff. Because the guy who owns this bike, he loves this bike, but he just wants to ride it. He doesn't want it to be 100% perfect. He's just like, I just want to get out and road and whatever that is with the least amount of money. Let's do it. So that's what we're doing. Anyway, so we're putting this in, lining the pin up, everything off. Oop, I see some gunk on the pin. Hold on a second. Always good to check. Use my napkin. All right, let's see here. Sweet. Okay, that's better. Make sure there's no gunk on this rocker arm. Nothing in the center. Okay, let's put this back. All right, in we go. There we go. I'll just kind of wiggle it until it wants to find a good spot to sit. And then I'll give it some love taps here in a bit. But I gotta get the camshaft in first. All right, so make sure that sits off to the side. Yep, all right. Now there's enough room for the camshaft to go in. Is it worth rebuilding? Sorry. Is it worth rebuilding a 696 engine? I mean, anything's worth rebuilding. For me, I do these things as my main hobby of rebuilding them. So if you're looking to flip it, I don't know, all the Ducati monsters and stuff, they're so cheap now. Like you can get a used one in good shape for less than $4,000. So if you have all the tools and you really enjoy the process, yeah, go for it, it's worth it. But if you're solely trying to flip a bike, yeah, don't do it. There's no money in it. Unless you get that bike for free, and even then, the margins really aren't there to justify doing all the work because you'll spend a lot of time working on it, whatever. And it's just, sometimes it's not worth it, but it just all depends on you. Like, for instance, if you go to my channel, you'll see my most famous video, which was a 2024 S1000 RR that I rebuilt, and it had a huge front end damage, but all the main critical components weren't damaged. I got that thing for 8 grand. I put another 8 grand in it to fix it because all those parts are so expensive. But I then turned around and sold it for 25 grand. So I had 16 in it, sold it for 25. So I made a pretty penny off of that bike. But like I said, the margins were there. I was able to fix it. But yeah, those older Ducati monsters, it just depends on if you love it or not. Yeah. Lewis, is that you? I don't know if that's Lewis. Stormtrooper, are you Lewis? I have a friend that is all about Stormtrooper stuff. I don't know if that's his YouTube handle. Let's see, all right, so that's in. So now let's put in the cam. It's got that assembly gel on it that I showed you guys. So it's ready to go in. I'm gonna wipe off a little bit of the surface real quick. It's got some of the Loctite debris on it, so made sure all that's off. And when you turn it in, you have to get the camshaft in the correct position so it avoids everything. All right. There we go. And turn a little bit, excuse me. Turn. Come on, turn. There it goes. And we'll move. There we go. All right, so now the cam's in, we're gonna move that rocker arm back over that new. Second, moving up. You're good, you're good. A little bit. Up, forward. Oh no, might be too tight of a tolerance. Might be a little too tight, Let's see. Because that happens sometimes. Measurement one thing, but in real life, it doesn't want to go. Let's see here, what's going on here? So there it goes, I'm just kidding. We're good. Ta-da. Sweet. All right, so that's in. Push that in, and now we're good. So what we've done so far, we've pulled the cam, replaced the rocker arm, put the cam back in, remeasured everything, found out, this guy needed to be replaced, the top shim. Replace that, put the camshaft back in. I'm about to tighten it up, and we're gonna measure one more time. So on this section, I've measured it 3 times so far now. Once to check what it is, once to check after I replace rocker arm, and now again once to make sure that after I replace that shim, that it's the correct spec. So like I said, don't yell at your mechanic if you go take a motorcycle to get valve clearance done and be like, oh wow, man, the hours on this thing, why is there so many hours? Well, because it takes a long time, because it's just nothing but put it together, check, take it back apart, put it together, check, oh, gotta take it back again, take it apart back again. So yeah, so we're doing this, taking this down. Oh, before we do that, let's hammer this pin back in. We got lower. You can't see the pin that I'm about to hammer in, but I've shown it to you before. But anyways, we'll hammer that in real quick. So that pin locks this lower rocker arm in place and it won't let it move. Just a few little love taps. Satisfying clunk when it hits in, and make sure that's we're good. Everything looks good. All right, sweet. Yeah. But is it blurry? Tell me, can you guys see this pretty well? I can't tell. On my phone, it looks blurry. I can never tell the front camera, where the front camera is like focusing. It's weird. And I can't find out if, does this have a flip function? What is that? That flips to the back, doesn't it? Okay, there we go. Well, I kind of need to see what you guys see, so. Oh, we're running low on battery. Gotta plug you guys in. Come on. Always forget that. Because doing lives on YouTube, man, it just drains your phone. Because it's essentially a live feed, and we're broadcasting. Alright. So, let's see here. We got that hammered in. We got our pin pushed in. Now we gotta tighten up these two bolts. I'm gonna tighten them up once, just to make sure everything's good, and then I'll loosen them, take them out, put some Loctite on them, and then tighten them and torque them. So there yet again, it's just one step forward, two steps back. One step forward, yeah, we're good. Keeps going forward. So it's just, yeah, just like when you said it, is it worth rebuilding a Ducati Monster engine? Yeah, if you like it and you enjoy it, it's totally worth it, because they're fun motors to work on. The parts aren't too expensive because they're older parts and they're not specialized. And these motors they all have the same function pretty much between these super bikes and then the monsters. They're very similar. I don't know exactly what all the nuanced differences are, but they're all very close to the same. Alright, anytime you mess with aluminum bolts, only hand tight, just kind of squeeze it, and especially with a 1/4" drive, just squeeze like a screwdriver tight, because if you fuck up, then you have a bolt stuck in your head, and that's not good. You gotta drill that out, and then hopefully you don't fuck up the head and everything. So always use Loctite with hand tight bolts. You can torque them, which I do that, but for some of these bolts I just use Loctite and torque them with my hand, because that's pretty much close enough to the values that you need. Alright, back to what we need to do. And what we need to do is check clearances again. So this is the 3rd time around. Let's do this. Here we go. So now we're doing this one, which is technically the right side. I know you guys are mirrored, but this measurement that I'm about to take should be 0.15. So let's just go for big. Don't assume anything and just go 0.15. Shove her in there. Alright. It's got a little drag. Feels pretty good. Nice. Alright, lobes are in the correct position. You have to make sure these lobes are in the correct position too, because the way it moves up. Alright, yeah. Feels pretty good. It's got a little drag, but let's go up. Let's see. There's one that's the wrong way. We need 0.18. 0.18, so it jumps 3. Alright, here goes 0.18. Oof, it does not like that. Yeah, it does not like that. So, ta-da! That is perfect spec. That's where it needs to be, 0.15. And that's for the exhaust opening unloaded measurement, because you have to take 2 measurements. So the next one should be 0.25, because the next one needs to be 10 or 1/10 of a millimeter bigger, which sounds like nothing, but so what I'm doing here is I'm putting this Allen key on top of the rocker arm, and you push the rocker arm down, and that's what gives you the clearance for the closing rocker arm, which is down here, because you're pushing down the rocker arm, and that pushes against this middle rocker right here. There we go. So just kind of shove that guy in there, make sure it's got a good bite on everything, and then you just pop it down. it moved on me. That's not good. Seems pretty loose, actually. Let's see if I can get this. Oh. So that's the thing, it just kind of wants to grab it, but it doesn't. I wish this end was a little bit longer so it would grab it just right. All right, let's see. There we go. It's okay, that's pretty loose. See, and that's why you double check everything. Let's go to 0.28. What are you? 0.28. Let's see here. You get the lobes in the correct position. There you go, they should be kind of pointing out. This goes back in there. And I'm just leveraging again. Oh. There we go. Oh, come on. Actually, let me try a different leverage point. Do the long side. You can kind of do it this way. It's not the best, but you're still doing the same thing. You're leveraging the marker arm down. See, only takes a little bit of force, but you know what? That's pretty rough. It's gripping on it pretty hard. Yeah, you can see it's kind of jumping around. So I'll go back to 0.25. With these, doing this feeler gauge thing, I don't know if any of you guys have ever done it, but while you're doing it, you're hoping that you're not creating a bias. A bias because you're like, no, that one is the perfect size and that one feels perfect, because you don't want to do the work of taking it all back apart and replacing a shim. So you have to just be cognizant of that there is a little internal dialogue of, please God, don't let this be the wrong size or I have to take it all apart again. So that's something that you kind of have to watch out for and have kind of an internal chat with yourself of, don't just half-ass it. All right, there it is. There's a clear. I don't know. That grips, and I can feel it. There's resistance. 25 sounds good. I'm gonna check one more time. Uno mas, please. 28. Because I really want this to be nice. Make sure he doesn't have to worry about valves or anything for a long while. Because this bike's got like 12,000 miles on it or something like that. And it's held up pretty well. Come on, get in there. See, just hard to judge. Man, it's windy outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it is windy as shit outside. Come on, come on. You want to go in there. You want to just go down just like that. Nah. It is not. Yeah. We are perfectly in spec. Because that means that puts the closer at 0.10 and that puts the opener at 0.15. So this guy is perfecto. And that means we can start buttoning things up. The exciting part. I just have to remember what I have filmed and what I have not filmed. Because you guys are seeing behind the scenes stuff of me working on stuff right now. Because this is the second time I'm having to do this. But I think I have footage of buttoning everything up right now. Pretty sure I do. So I think I can close all this stuff up. And then the next thing that I have to start recording is working on the throttle bodies. They look like carburetors. They're kind of styled almost exactly like a carburetor, because this is one of the first bikes design-wise that got away from carburetors, but I have to work on those and see if there's something with those that is causing a intake backfire. So now that I've double checked everything, it's time to button things up. So you're gonna see me close this up. I'm gonna lock tight everything and make sure everything's good. And then we'll go from there. And you can see this zip tie hanging out. This was so I could make sure that this was at top dead center, or this piston was at the very top of its stroke. That's what top dead center is. All right. Ugh. You can leave a comment if you enjoy laying on a concrete ground. I don't. No. Not the most comfy. Oh yeah. Sweet. So that's good news. So what we're gonna do is now, this is all lubed up. I put that lubrication stuff on there, that gel. Wipe this oil. Just gonna wipe things down. There's a good seat. Everything's clean. Yeah, this looks good. All right, perfect. All right, so we're gonna work from the bottom up. We gotta close this one up, and then we gotta close the top one up. And I gotta put some boots on, and then Bob's your uncle. We will get this done. So you guys just stay right there, relax, lay down, take it out, whatever you guys need to do. I'm going to bring the plate or the cover over here with some Loctite and the screws. Alright, so this one is kind of interesting. It's got a bunch of different type of screws and bolts that it's got to hook up with. Like the hiccups now. Alright, sweet. Excited, because this means we're moving forward. We're done with the shims. We're done with that process. All right. Okay, let's see here. Oh, come on. Do I have a clean one? Yeah, we got a clean one. We got a clean one. So this is a gasket that goes there. Just kind of wiping it down, making sure there's no grit or anything that can obstruct it. One of the things that can fuck with stuff is hair. I realize that, but I've had hair mess up gaskets before, where it's just a tiny weeping of a leak. But you think the gasket is bad, but all it is I say hair, but I mean dog hair, because dog hair is a little bit thick, and it actually has just enough thickness to fuck up a seal. So if you guys have dogs at the house, or you guys are working on something in the shop and you have dogs running around, just make sure you wipe down surfaces before you just throw things back on, because all they say is, the width of a human hair or whatever, but all it takes is freaking dog hair to ruin a project. And you got oil leaking everywhere. This thing's got oil on it too, but all right, enough jibber jabber. Let's get this back on here. Round side. Sweet. You know what I forgot? Before I put this plate on, I forgot the all-important Loctite. Loctite, and I need to wipe off the old Loctite on those guys. Whew. Let's do it. So, anybody in the chat have a preference on Loctite or brands? I've just been using this Permatech stuff because I just get it at the local auto parts store, but I watched a video of Project Farm. That guy did a review of all the different Loctites, and surprisingly enough, Loctite, the actual brand, which everyone kind of associates with the actual chemical Loctite, that's the brand, it actually did pretty poorly when compared to other thread lockers. Because you call the stuff Loctite, and a lot of people know what that is, but it's actually called thread locker. And I don't ever say thread locker, I just say Loctite. It's very catchy, but anyways, this Permatech seems to do okay whenever I'm unscrewing things that I've put it on it definitely has quite a bit of resistance when coming out. And I got this medium strength. There's from Loctite and Permatex, they make a blue, an orange, and then a red. This orange is a happy medium between red, which requires heat to remove, and blue, which is just a vibration proof kind of Loctite. But yeah, I pretty much rebuilt an entire Triumph, what is it, a Triumph Speed Triple engine. Had to rebuild it, and all through that bike I had nothing but orange Loctite on everything, because that was one of my first times getting that deep into a motor, and the last thing I wanted was something to come loose because I just didn't torque it right, or it didn't settle or something. So everything got a little bit of Loctite, and people made comments like, oh my god, you're keeping thread locker companies in business with this. I was like, yeah, I know. I don't fuck around with that stuff, and especially after I got my, or especially after going to track days and becoming a racer and running race bikes, and just experiencing all the different woes that come with racing, you find out real quick that bolts get loose real quick. Even if you torque them to spec, even if you haven't touched them or whatever, things get loose pretty quick. And so there's a common theme of checking things almost every race, just going back over bolts, making sure everything's in their spot. Right, you stay there. So that's another reason why I just put Loctite on everything, because there's some people that mention like, oh, you don't need to put Loctite on it. I'm like, have you run a motorcycle at very high RPMs for an extended amount of time? And I do that with racing or track days. Well, that essentially is a sped up version of, I don't know, 5,000 miles on a motorcycle. And you can see how quickly, I mean, in the racing sense, it's quick, but obviously out on the road, but you can see the effect and where Loctite is truly needed, and where a lot of people don't put it, but they need it. Anyways, yeah, this bottom plate, it's got a bunch of oil on it. I'm gonna do a wash on this bike later, but I'll put some degreaser on here, clean it up. Don't get happy with brake cleaner and spray it everywhere. I fucked up on several bikes where I'm like, oh, it's got some oil, brake clean, and then the paint just instantly comes off. It's like, fuck. So if you have something oily, just get some soapy water and just wipe it off. Don't go brake cleaner happy and start spraying shit, because I've messed up parts where I'm like, oh, just spray some brake cleaner or some degreaser and it'll be fine. Well, some paints are very sensitive, and they will just say bye-bye, and then you're fucked with a raw metal surface that's open to rust. So, don't recommend it. Do a quick little rub down on this guy, make sure that's good. Make sure everything's good. Now, we will do just hand torque. Plus, that's good. Oh man, this thing has so much play. Okay, and try to do cross pattern. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Kind of hands in the way, but cross pattern. All right, that's snug. Now this guy gets torqued. There we go. There's one. Next one. All right, there's two. I'm gonna do all this by feel, and that's just from a lot of time torquing things and having to undo torque things. There we go, and last one. Okay, I just go over one more time. Good. 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 All right. We are good. Nice. And get any of the oil out. It's mainly just the internals of the bolts that hold on a bit of oil. It'll burn off, but it's just unpleasant whenever you start biking. It's smoky. It's always unnerving. It's like, oh, what the fuck? Is there something leaking? What's going on? And it's like, no, it's just a little bit of oil burning off. So. All right, now I guess I'll put you guys back up on the stand because I need to put the covers back on. Actually, while we're down here, we'll just put up the radiator. Get you guys. Yeah, there you go. You can kind of see where I'm going. Kind of, yeah. We'll go back there. Has a radiator. Radiator's gonna go right here and see on this lower cover, it actually has a radiator mounts right here. And then these two bolts are for the fairings. So we'll go ahead and get these guys in there so we can get the radiator back in place. Or this is not the radiator, I keep saying radiator. It's the oil cooler. It's essentially a radiator for oil cooling. All right, oh, is this? That's right, it's not a, it's a number 8. This one always trips me up. Yeah, there we go. That one's on there. I mean, that bolt needs some oil or something. It's kind of corroded. The brass plating has come off of it. All right, was it this way? I think it's this way. All right, get that back in there. Get you back. I need you. Come on, back in there. There we go. All right. I can't tell what's going on here. Let's see if I can get this. This bolt's kind of tricky. You have to feed it through. Come on. There we go. It's right there. See what that does. Oh. No, that doesn't feel good. Right, we'll just do the other one first before we start fucking things up. Yeah, that started to get cross-threaded. We'll do the other side first. I need a 8mm socket to get that one on. Alright, 8. Where is it? Somewhere down here somewhere. 8, yes. Alright. Alright, so I'm gonna be on this left side. I'm just over here. Alright, pop that off. So, like I said before, she was a little tiny bit of Loctite on everything. So this is a mounting bolt for the oil cooler. So, and just a dollop will do. Just a little boop. That's just enough. Not trying to go crazy with this stuff, but it helps. It makes a difference. There goes that side, there goes the side. I think this is lined up. There we go. Alright. Come on, little heat. There we go. Come on here. Wrong way. There we go. And now we're going in. I don't know if you guys can see that. Just almost out of frame. Yeah. This oil cooler's seen some better days. Some of the fins are pretty bent. Alright, let's see. Let's get this one to line up. See if I can get it to line up from the other side. Tiny bit. Alright, let's see. There. Come on. Come on. Let's see. You want to go in? Kinda not really. I think I need to get a longer Allen because that socket's interfering. Let me get an Allen key real quick. What I need to get is those long Allen key sockets. The whatever extended ones. Alright, this is number 5. Numero 5. Try it. First, get this one in. Alright, actually, I guess we can snug this one up. Now we can move the other one around. Alright, let's see. Let's see. Ball head. Let's see. You're not one to be nice, are you? Little first thread isn't happy. Damn it. Damn it. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I had issues with putting this on the first time too. Let me grab my flashlight so I can see it. That looks good right there, actually. Oh, what you got? Snake my arm through here. Oh, no, didn't like that. Oh, are we good? I think. Oh yeah, we're golden now. That's screwing in. Sweet. Well, it took a super awkward angle and 2 Allen keys to get it done, but let me get on the other side. That's awkward from this position. Awkward. Alright, we're going now. Sweet. Alright. Let's see what I'm doing here. I'm just screwing in this mounting bolt. Woohoo! And then once this guy's in, give you a little bit of a torque. Okay. Wiggle that one out. Torque down, look good. Give it a little wiggle, that's fine. It kind of floats on there. That is good. All right. Now, what we can do is we're gonna put you guys back on the stand so you guys can see more of what's going on. Because what I'm working on is kind of the left side of things, or it's actually the right side. And then we'll go from there. Sweet. And it's only 9:30. By this time it's like 12:30. I'm like, fuck. How am I gonna be able to sleep? How am I gonna be able to wake up? Alright, let's put this a little lower. Alright. Come with me and you'll see a whole new view of the world while I clean the front lens to make sure you can see. Alright, so this is what we gotta put back on. This is the plate cover. It covers up the pins. These pins come out in order to remove those rocker arms. But I actually need to remove these bolts and put Loctite on them. I think I also need to remove these. Can't remember if I put Loctite on those, but you guys are gonna take a little twirl. There we go. Get you guys back on this thing. There it goes. All right, spin, spinny, spin, spin. And we're back. Sweet. All right, let's get you guys like that. Something like that. Let's tighten this. Tighten that. Get you like that. There we go. Ta-da. You guys see what I see? Sweet. Yeah, we're golden. Nice. Back it up just a little bit. Just so I can get in there and work. But yeah, we're just putting on this plate and adding Loctite where it needs it. So, like I said before, I had to tighten down these guys. There's one too, but again, like always, just Loctite everything, make sure everything's fitting perfectly. As you can see, those are torqued decently. I mean, it's just hand tight, but hand tight plus Loctite is always best. It's always best. You guys see what I'm doing here? Not even okay. Sweet. Okay, here, so I recommend only doing one bolt at a time. And again, any Loctite on there? No, there's not old Loctite. I'm just gonna put a little bit, shake, a little bit on there. That's all it takes. Because if I really wanted to make sure I layer that up, but there's kind of a thing that happens with Loctite. If I have to take this off again, not only will it be difficult to take off, but the crap that the old Loctite that's flaking off, that can get places that you don't want it. So, let's see here. There we go. Snug. Alright, let's take this one out. So yeah, the old Loctite flaking off from the threads, if you put a bunch on there, yeah, it helps it hold in place even more, but when you're taking off, that shit can get in between gaskets, it can get into a spot that you don't want to drop it into. Like I was taking off some bolts earlier, where I was like, oof, glad these didn't have any Loctite junk come off of them, because I was right over top of the intake. And I was like, that going into the valve train or whatever isn't the greatest. It's not end all be all, but it's just hard enough stuff that it can clog passages and just maybe the oil filter doesn't catch it or something. It's just caution, but it's always good to be cautious. Alright, let's torque down. Let me see. I don't know if I Loctited these. Let's see. Let's find out real quick. Nope, these are not Loctited. Because you'll know if they're Loctited by how easily they come out. See, I'm just barely screwing these out. If they're Loctited, especially with this medium lock, it will take quite a bit of force to continuously unscrew them. And that's all it is. It's just, they might lose their overall torque, but this keeps them from backing out all the way and or quickly. It's a very, you have to have a decent amount of force behind them to unbolt them. So, just doing the above and beyond. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Yeah, didn't want to tight these. Because I Loctited the covers, these engine covers, the valve covers that go on the sides, they're these plastic covers. And it took forever to get them off. You can kind of see one of these holes right here. There's some Loctite right there, and there's some Loctite right here. I have to clean those a little bit, but those are a common part that falls off on these bikes because they are a piece of plastic that's touching the metal engine, and these V-twins rattle. They're essentially kind of like a cruiser motor because they're a V-twin. They're not as lumpy and thuddy as like a Harley Davidson, but they still have that V-twin characteristic of kind of boom, 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 boom. So there's a lot more rattling versus like an inline 4 modern Japanese bike. Those are super smooth for the most part. Some of them get super vibraty at certain speeds and certain RPMs, but yeah. Anyways, long story short, Loctite everything, because the worst case scenario is pretty bad, and the best case scenario is also pretty bad. Worst case scenario, bolt comes undone, motor explodes somehow. Best case scenario, bolt comes undone, but that's still pretty bad because I don't know what it could affect. Alright, Alright, and we are good right now. Okay. And tight. That's really all those. Let me check this guy. Okay, it's there. I'm supposed to tighten this guy. Okay, so this is all good. Now we will put on this cover, and then we'll put on the boots. And once the boots are on, I think we'll go ahead and go from there. But I have the zip tie out. That's because the spark plugs are out, because I'm going to be turning over the motor a lot once I put on the belts, just to make sure everything's lined up. And with the spark plugs out, you can turn the motor over a lot easier. There's not compression that you're having to battle. So, but yeah, let's go ahead. Get some of this stuff out of the way. You're there. You're here. All right. There. All right. So now I'm gonna move you guys up. We're gonna look at the top-down view. Plug you back in. I always forget to plug you back in after we go on a journey. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Gonna put up a few tools. That was perfect. 510. Yes, that was perfect. 10. It was 15. I marked down some stuff. Motor clearance was 15. Closer clearance was 10. Loaded was 25. That was perfect. Perfect. Alright. Paperwork, rockers, all that stuff is done. Sweet. The difficult part is done. Now it's just putting things back together. It's just a tedious thing. A lot of people look at motorcycles or anything like a car or whatever, and like, oh my god, it's in so many parts. And it's like, It's kind of like, it's like building a puzzle once you've already built that puzzle a couple times. Like there's 500-piece puzzles or whatever people get into, and on the onset or just the initial look, it's like, holy shit, that's so many pieces. But if you've done it a couple times, it's not that bad because you know where the end result is going. All right, so this is what I was talking about earlier. Let's see if I can get you guys to kind of sit just right. How zoomed in are you guys? Let's see. Let's raise you up a bit. Give you some more real estate to see what's going on. Make sure that doesn't tip over. Sweet. All right, so we are going to be working right in here. We're working right in here. Going to be putting on covers, putting some lube in there, making sure all this stuff is good. This stuff's torqued down. Torque. Good, that's good. That's not leaking. This stuff is out of the way. That's out of the way. Good. All right, yeah. So there we go. And I have filmed all of this, so I don't need to film it for my long format videos. But later on, you guys will see me utilizing the camera to film some stuff, because that's just where I'm at. Okay, so we need cover and socket cover and long plates. This is the horizontal intake. And we need clean shop towel to wipe things down with. Clean shop towel, wipe things. And let me just go ahead and put some lubrication on these lobes. I can't remember if I put some on there. Yeah, they look pretty dry, but again, this is the stuff that I use. It's not assembly lube, it's assembly gel, and it's by this Driven company. And you'll see it's like this amber golden color stuff. And I can get some to come out. There we go. And it's a sticky gel. And it sticks to the lobes much better than just assembly Alright, so we got some gel in there, make sure it's protected. And when we first start it up, it isn't completely dry. That's when you get into things like fucking up the rocker arms that I just replaced. It damages those from running dry for that whatever 10-15 seconds. But yeah, we're just going to clean this surface a little bit. Make sure that's good. And then put the plate on, and then we'll put this intake on, and then we're good to go. Alright, easy peasy. Let's see here. Socket. Come here. And Loctite. Come here. And plate. And double check this plate, make sure everything's good with it. Yeah. Check these bolts for Loctite. Check the holes. I'm just wiping down the gasket right now, make sure the gasket's clean. No damage, nothing to be worried about. Same thing with the cover. Make sure there's no Loctite against anything, as well as the bolts. No Loctite there. Loctite there. And a little bit of Loctite. There we go. Get that shit off. Loctite isn't necessarily bad. It's just bad when you're trying to get the bolts back in, and if it flakes off and gets into places that it's not supposed to be. That's when it's bad. And Loctite isn't necessarily that hard of a material, but again, if it's got stuff on it, just get it off. Alright. There we go. Let's go this way. Goes this way. Alright. Gonna be putting Loctite on the bolts. Alright, guys. Alright. Got everything, plate, Loctite, and bolts. Alright, there we go. Yeah. I'm gonna put the Loctite and the bolts down here on the ground. I don't think you guys can see me, but this is just drop. There we go. And let's put our first one ready to go in. Let's put the plate down first, so we are not holding bolts over an open cavity. That's something you never want to do. Just always be aware of that. If you're working on something and you're just not thinking right, start holding bolts over open surfaces or open cavities, especially around engines, no matter what it is. You don't want to be doing that. And come out to bite you. Alright, I'm gonna do my socket. Left it over here. Yeah. We're on the home stretch, just putting things together now, which is always exciting. There we go. I'm going to put you guys at a different angle. There we go. Yeah, see, I can still feel some of the Loctite from the previous time that I put these on. Get these lined up and kind of mostly in. Yeah, see what I'm doing, kind of. Alright, so how many guys? We got 9 people here. What are you guys doing? You guys surfing? How'd you guys stumble upon me? Are you guys looking for motorcycle content? Rebuild content? Or just motorcycles in general? What are you guys looking for? I'm always looking for rebuild content. That's just my jam. But I do watch motorcycle reviews and stuff. They're fun because seeing the new latest and greatest is kind of cool. And it's also like the reviewers, like the motorcycle magazine reviewers, they got their own personalities and stuff. They're cool to watch. And it's fun to listen to each one. There's an old British guy that I think he's, was it MCN? That guy, I like watching that guy. His way of describing things is very good, and you know his his base of comparison. He's ridden a lot of motorcycles over the years, and so you know he has a good database to choose to pull from to describe as well as compare in his head about what this certain bike feels like that he's riding. So I do like to watch some bike reviews, but I don't know. Do you guys watch what is it, moto vlogs? I don't watch moto vlogs. I never got into that because, I mean, moto vlogs are essentially the same thing I'm doing right now, where I'm just in the process of doing something but just blabbering. But I don't know, if I want to hear someone blabber, I'd rather watch a podcast or maybe what is it? Maybe a TED Talk or something. Something that like makes me go, oh, I didn't know that. Versus someone talking about how motorcycles are dangerous and you should be careful on them. Or like the latest news on the group ride that had a big wreck or something. And just much rather watch something interesting. All right, so all those are in, Loctited. We're just gonna give them hand tight little torque with our hands and cross pattern. There we go, one. It's two. Oop, there we go. Perfect example that Allen key came out, but we have open valves right here, so I have paper towel stuffed in there for situations just like that. All right. Okay, that's snugged. And last one. All right, I'll go back over them. Yep. Double check. Okay. Yep. And, yep. All right, that's good. Now let's put on our boot. We need our horizontal intake boot. Horizontal intake boot. Yes, and I need that's a 10. I think that's a 10. That was a 10? Or is it 8? No, it was a 10. Sweet. 10 it is. But do I have a long enough extension? Let's do a ratchet. Yeah, let's ratchet it up, man. Where did I drop tools? I'm an idiot. If you guys have connection to tool makers, let me know. Leave a comment. If you work at a tool maker like Gear or something, or a marketing guy firm, please leave me a comment, give me the hookup, because I need new tools. Things are falling apart faster than I can replace them. Just like an old, what I have is an old Huskies toolkit, and it's not doing the greatest. One, where's the other one? There's my magnetic. Where are you? Are you hiding right in front of my face? Are you on a screwdriver? I think you're on a screwdriver. There you are. There you are. Alright. Alright. I don't need you. I think that's good enough. Yeah. Alright, there we go. There we go. Yeah. Nice. Our sketchy ratchet design here. Okay, so this is horizontal. Horizontal, vertical, so they both come out to the left side. Horizontal says vertical. So they both come out the. Really? Oh, wait a second. I thought they came out this side. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense why they would do that. Let me see something real quick. Which one was vertical? This was last one. This one was vertical. Okay, so this one is this one. This one goes here.
that's twisted. Okay, no, we're good. Yeah, I just had a brain fart. Just looking at the different boots. Make sure I'm doing this right. It's always good to double check. Alright, here we go. We got this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 socket screws. Got a gasket. This gasket's kind of dirty. It's not good. Alright, let's see. Set you right there. Just set you right here for right now. I'm gonna clean off this gasket. You can kind of see it's got some gunk on it. Let me get a gel. Wipe it down. That's one thing I didn't get new gaskets for was the boots. Probably should have. That would have been the smart thing to do. All right, gasket looks okay. All right. So what we got in there? What's up? 6 dudes. How's it going, guys? All right. So this is getting intaked here. And that bends in there. That goes like that. All right, cool. All right. Now this is the interesting part, because I have to put in the gasket first. I forgot about that. I have to put it under this guy. There we go. That's on there. Sweet. Now I need to put this on there. No damage to this boot, is there? Just looking through the boot, making sure there's no damage. A little bit of a... no crack all the way through. These are a little bit cracked, but there's nothing all the way through. Is that? Okay, just last minute double checking everything. All right, so this goes like this. I'll raise up this reservoir tank. I think, or wait, no. Is it? Yeah, it is. Raise this up. Come on, I don't know. There we go. That goes on there like that. It's tightened down. So what I'm gonna do first is, again, clog this up. Never want to drop anything down a hole. And where is my socket creation? Super long ratchet. It's not my proudest moment, but ta-da! 2 1/4-inch extensions with a socket on a cheap little ratchet. So yeah, that's what we're working with. All right, it goes on there like that. Put that on there. All right, that's good. Next up, come on in there. There we go. Get you kind of snugged up. There we go. Let go. There we go. Get this guy down. Oh, this is the awkward part. It's got the reservoir tank on top of it. Kind of interesting. Gotta make sure both of these are. There we go. Okay. That's good. Good. Let go. Let go. No. Okay, now we're gonna switch
There we go. I don't know if you guys heard my shoulder on that one. Had a nice little pop action. There we go. Okay. All right, go back through, double check everything. Everything's snug down. Okay. Okay. Ooh, hit a nerve. Oof, damn. See that? Can't fuck with stuff when you're old. Not old, but getting there. 35. Things start breaking. Gotta be careful. Okay. Yeah, I've injured my hands enough that I know exactly when I hit a nerve because my hand goes numb. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. So what are you guys up to? Let's see here. All right, so this guy goes like this. He'll be waiting for the intakes, but let's do the other side now. All right, let's see here. We're up here now. See if I can get this to hold. No, maybe. Okay, so now we're gonna be going here. Let's move the spark and the bleed off. Now this one is the one that kind of sucks because there's no good path to getting to these bottom ones. So I have to take a little boxing wrench and get them on there, and it just takes forever. So let's see here. All right, before I do that, let's get, I guess we can go back down. Oh, we'll just go and get this on. Takes a while to get these things on. Alright, you need a 10. Okay. Let's see here. Good. Got a few like little dimples. You're pretty good. Look fine on the inside. I don't see any cracks. I don't see any marks. That's good. Perfection. That's what I like. Right. Let's see here. Gasket. Ooh, this gasket doesn't feel great. Gasket's kind of dirty. Gasket's a little bit dirty. Just cleaning off the gasket for the intake boot, making sure it's got a good clean surface to play with. Okay, let's get this guy over here. Gasket's gonna go one way. It seals to that. Why it doesn't seal to that? Okay. This way. Yeah, this gasket's a little torn up. Yeah, I'm looking at this. This is an intake boot gasket. Let's see here. This one's not the best. Doesn't give me much, but yeah. Let's see. See how it goes. I think it's best to do it that way. 'Cause this way pushes that way. You know what? Let's let's just get this on there. Let's see in here. No, it's all good. No bends. Everything looks good. They have a little bit of carbon buildup, but nothing major. Okay, let's get this on there. Slowly but surely. There we go. Okay. Alright. Let's get this guy in there. This is the intake boot. Alright, so now is the fun part. Trying to get this all line up and sit right. Alright, let's get some nuts. We got some nuts. And let's get these started. So I'm just putting these, what am I doing? There we go. Don't mess around with that, I'm telling you. If you have anything open, always close it up. Morning. Hey, Nick, what is it? Nick A? Where are you at? What is morning time here? What is that, Bangkok? Are you somewhere in Southeast Asia somewhere? Maybe Russia? Or maybe even Australia? Where are you from, Nick? Where it's morning time. Let's see here. Ooh, come on. There we go. Get you started. Okay, and the bitch one. The one that's just in the way of everything. The one that hates everyone. I don't even know how to get it in there. It's difficult to even get it in, get it out. Because there's a cross member brace right here that stops you as well. Actually, you know what? Can I get a socket through there? Might be able to. That'd be cool if I could get something through there. So give this guy a shot. Maybe, just maybe, this could work. Survey says, hey, I did not expect that. I was not expecting that. Okay, can't get my finger in there, no. All right, hold please while I gingerly focus on putting this on here. Okay. Yes, all right, we're good. All right, so since our newly acquired you know what? I didn't do it like this last time. I had to use this. I used a box sandwich. This is definitely the way to do it. Oh, spoke too soon. Sorry. There we go. Wow, that was much easier than it normally is. I should have filmed that. Because the first time I did that, I was just with a boxing wrench taking forever. But extensions and quarter-inch extensions work. Make sure you torque this thing down evenly. Friendly torque. Okay. Nope. Get you out of there. Come on. Come on. That's why you cover things up. Because if something would have fell, could have fallen in the intake. Alright, last little bit here. You got it. All right, there are not going to be any intake boot leaks today. Thing is on there. I don't know if I can just get it off. That's okay. Okay, I got that attachment. Good. This guy should just wiggle off. There we go. Thank you. All right, now we need to put on the side plate. I forgot about that. Side plate, side plate. Okay, so that's that extension. Yeah, stink. I stink out the place. Still have a cover gasket, does it? No, but it does have some Loctite. Oof, that's quite a bit of Loctite. See, I was talking to a few people earlier about this, but see, this is old Loctite coming off. Oh, how'd I drop it? Anyways, you don't want that stuff getting into anything, so I always recommend that if you had previously put Loctite on something, just make sure you go through the bolts and clean them. All right, back down we go. All right, get you, oh, that came loose, that's okay. Get you back down, let's see here. Oh, that's sitting funny. There we go. Scoot you back a little bit, see what's going on. I need my 5 Allen and extension. Extension, where are you? Oh, extension, there you are. And you're okay. Sweet. Okay, that is what we're working with. I gotta put this plate on. This is the plate that covers the pins that allows you to remove the rocker arms. So we're just gonna set that there. I'm gonna clean these bolts. Here's the plate, but I can see on the underside, I can see some Loctite that's kind of seeping in. You can kind of see it there, it flaked some of it off. So I'm just gonna kind of clean this real quick. Kind of bend you guys down. See that? Yeah, so always clean bolts, clean. Also wipe off gaskets because this stuff can kind of get caught on the inside of the gaskets. There's some decent Loctite right there. There it goes, that's clean. So, is anybody working on their own bike? Are you watching this for inspiration? Or are you guys just scrolling, finding stuff to watch? What's everybody's story? All right, see that? That's Loctite. It can just affect the seal of the gasket. There we go. There we go. There we go. Just that little Allen key and just kind of knock it off. And do a little round. Some right there. Kind of see it. All right. Nice. All right, let's put some Loctite on these guys. And then, like I said, use a medium strength. This is true medium because the blue is light strength. Permatex does a true medium where it's in between blue and red. Blue is just to keep it from vibrating loose. Red is to keep it from not moving, but you also, if you want to remove it, you have to use heat to get that damn thing off. But this orange it helps protect it from vibrations, but also it makes it a little more difficult to remove throughout the actual bolt. So, throughout the actual process. So, I enjoy the medium that this Permatex makes because it continues a grip with it even afterwards. Oh, it's actually a little bit easier. I normally use my my ratchet with an Allen, but this thing has so much play in it that it takes forever to ratchet. Surprisingly, the Allen key was actually a little bit quicker to put it in. So let's see, I didn't show you guys. Right there. We're just putting a plate in right here. Let's see. Maybe I can put you guys right there. But yeah, so these bolts go in. This is exciting because this is one of the last parts before we put on our intake, or sorry, our throttle bodies. See right here, it's a little bit, you can see me, it's a little bit difficult to push. So it's got a little bit of thread locker inside of the threads, which is okay, I'm fine with it. But it just helps hold things in place, and if things are trying to get loosened by the thumpiness of this V-twin, things don't want to come undone fully. Yeah. Sweet. Nice. Alright, let's get this other one kind of going. What's up, Travis? Message redacted. Or retracted. Sorry, I was like, what are you, part of the government? I read that wrong. I was like, what the fuck? Redacted? What does that mean? Are you too high up to leave a comment? What kind of information are you posting? Did you just drop a comment about aliens or something? Funny. Man, I've been sucked into there's a couple podcasts about people talking about aliens, and it's fun to watch for me because like you get all different kind of stories. You get people with stories about like I encountered the aliens and now I have this special power where I can touch people and heal them. And then you have people that are like, yeah, I encountered aliens now. I get to go to their secret bases in the mountains. It's like, have you ever been in the military or any stuff? Oh no, I just have contact with them. So it's kind of like I don't know if you have girlfriends or wives that like shows that are just obnoxious to me, like those Real Housewife shows where it's just like women just yelling at each other while chugging wine and just being belligerent. But it's like a pointless show and it's like drama. But for me, my housewife show is just like alien content, people talking about aliens, because there's some interesting stories on there that are coming from some pretty honest looking, humble people. So it makes you think like, oh, okay, well, we might already have contact with things, or we might already be working with them, or they might already just be here, we just can't see them. Or there you get some interviews where it's like, dude, this guy is one shade away from going to mental institute. Like, what's going on here? So it's just fun to watch for me. So I'm not watching motorcycle rebuild content. I'm watching shit about aliens. So thanks, Travis. You brought it out of me. I let my secrets go. Alright, so we're just cross-torquing these, doing hand tight. And then we'll do another little torque. Because these are all pretty small bolts and you don't want to overdo them. And with the Loctite, it keeps them in place. Okay, let me just do one more. Let's see. And my hand strength is just about the same as the torque that you put on these, which is like, what is it? 10 Newton meters or something, like 7 Newton meters. It's about hand strength. So hand strength plus Loctite equals perfection. So what are we gonna do now? You know what we have to do now? We get the belts on. So this is already top dead center. Get these guys lined up. Let's see here. Gotta get that guy winded over, but gotta get it down before I wind it over. Before I push the valves down. Alright, this guy goes like that. Oh wait, no, I go like this. Just kidding. That's where they are. Go like that. These guys go up here, like this. This guy goes like that. He kind of balances up there. I need to clean my hands, get some brake cleaner, clean off these camshaft pulleys, because you want them clean. You want oil on them for the belts to kind of move or shift. So let me get that real quick. So I clean those off. Contact cleaner.
smells, but does its job. Good. There's just a little bit of oil on there. A little bit of gunk. This just ensures that the belts have no interest in sliding off or move around too much. There we go. Actually, I'm cleaning them up pretty well. They're actually kind of dirty. So we're giving them a new life. Alright, let's clean this one down here in just a bit. I don't know if you guys can see that one. This is a crank pulley. Again, I'm just making sure there's no oil or anything dripped on it. Make sure it's clean and gives the belts a good surface to bite on. Let's go up to the horizontal one. There we go. Sweet. Yeah. So again, just clean these off. So. Make sure it's super clean. I think that's one thing that people don't do a lot is anything that's meant for traction, I don't double check to make sure that it's clean. There's no like random oil on it. Because I've been handling these a lot. And I've definitely had assembly lube and oil and all kinds of stuff on my hands. Yep. And the next part is pulley. Just clean pulley. There's no oil on it. There we go. Yeah, that thing's clean. Anything on this one? Clean this pulley. Oh, you guys can't fucking see. But yeah. Ta-da for the 3 guys watching. What's up, guys? Alright, there we go. Put this. This guy's clean. Yeah. Alright. It's alright. Everything looks pretty clean. Wipe some crevices down. Wipe some holes out. Hold in here, clean up these bolt holes. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Now we have a little bit of Loctite on it still. How's that one? That one's okay, that one's okay. Alright. Now the fun part. Putting the belts back on. It's not that bad. It's quite easy actually. But so vertical goes first. This guy goes first. Get over there. Let's put up some fluids. Don't spray yourself in the face. I've done that with brake cleaner. Don't do it. Don't recommend it. It's not fun. Okay. Now let's find our correct. This is horizontal. This is the vertical. Let me spraying your hands with a brake cleaner or contact cleaner. And it fucks up your skin, but alright, so let's see. Looks okay. Looks like we got a kind of a shape like that. Alright, it's all good. Alright, so we'll just work our way. Get the pulley on. Alright, that's lined up. That's lined up. So we will snake our way through here. Get on here. On there. Actually. Yeah, I'm blocking the whole view. Sorry. Sorry, you guys. There we go. That's a little bit better. Maybe not. See a little bit better like that. Sweet. There we go. Now you can kind of get a little bit closer to me. You can cuddle up. There we go. Now you can kind of see what I'm doing. So what we're working on is getting this belt. We put it on the lower pulley first, and we work our way up. I think. Maybe it's the other way around. Might be the other way around. I don't know. We'll try it the other way around to see if we go. Anyways, line this guy up here. This guy gets lined up here. Yeah. Wait until I get this. There we go. I think it's like that. It's like that, or just a little bit more. Maybe just something like that. I think that's what it is. But yeah. Go through. There's a skinny part. There's a skinny part. I think this way was actually easier. I can get it behind the wires. Behind wires. There we go. Over top. Over that. Goes that. Over that. Okay. There. Goes there. Okay. Okay. This guy goes up underneath there. Back around. Let's see here. That goes like that. That goes like that. There we go. That is where it's at because this lines up here and it has a little bit of a gap. It has a little bit of an opening. I remembered that. And this lines up here. So that looks good. That looks good. Push you back on a little bit more. All right, so there's no hopping. Okay, so now that that's on, we put on the tensioner pulley. Make sure all this kind of stays in place. So we'll get the tensioner pulley, and then we get some big box end wrenches. So here we go. What time is it, guys? Is it 12 yet? Oh, it's 10:30. Alright, hopefully we can get these kind of on. Snug up everything. Alright, so this is a tensioner pulley. This is what goes on, plus this little washer, this little washer right here. So it's clean. Rolling. Alright. There we go. I forgot which way I tightened it. I think it's this way. No, it's up, because you can see where it goes. Because if I go down to tighten it, the belts touch. Ta-da! There. That's how I know. Alright, so first, we get our 22. Actually, let's get this on. I get the washer, spring washer, and this other washer on. Okay. Put some tension in it. Okay. Put our 22 in there. Alright. A little bit of 5 fit in there snugly. So much. Try and just get a guesstimate of tension. One of the ways you can do it is like if you press this belt up, you want it to just be just under that. So do that real quick. Something like that. Hold that there. Let me take our 12. Snug this guy down. Arms in the way. How did I get you in before? Oh, I have you at a wrong angle. That's fine. That'll stay. Yeah, I'll probably have to end the live so I can torque these things down, because what I need is on my phone. It's a belt tensioner app, and it tells me the frequency which the belts are vibrating at to let me know the correct tension. But let's just get the belts on, and then we'll call it quits on the live. But thank you, 4 dudes hanging out. Leave a comment. Tell me what you're doing. What are you doing tonight? Thanks for coming to watch and hang out. But yeah. So again, quick test. Touch it up to the top. Does it get to there? Okay. Well, that's gonna be funny because your line is marked up again. Oh. Okay, and there's a tool that I bought specially to torque these down. I'm gonna go ahead and get that. It's a 13 millimeter socket. Let's do it. 3/8. Not to rust. You are right. You're 13 and you are a half. That's right, because I need you for this guy. Boom. Torque. I don't know what torque spec is, but I got this for torquing this down. I'll have to look that up on my phone to torque it down. But it's kind of finagling again. It's another finagling job that it's like, what's the torque? What's the torque?
almost in line, so feels pretty snug. We'll test that later, but it's on there, and then we'll utilize torque wrench with a 13 because this isn't a 12-14. That would have been nice if this was a 12-14, but it's a 13, and I'll utilize my 13 Allen to be able to torque it down. I learned that from Brad, the bike guy. I think that's what it was. But yeah, so now that one's on there. It's torqued up, right spot. Let's do the horizontal belt. Let's get you guys backed up. Going over here, bouncing around, you know, the usual. Bounce, bounce, bounce. There we go. So I can see, you guys can see, sweet. I'm gonna go grab that belt and we'll get started on this one. This one's a little bit easier because there's like instant access to it. But same kind of process, same sort of deal. Gotta line these up real quick. Line those up. Nice. 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 Alright. And I had marked which one was which, just in case there was any sort of weird grooves or something that is developed. I think that's so this one's a little bit easier since it's on the outside, but you can see I labeled it H for horizontal. Take that off. And I think what was easiest is to go top down. So do top it round. There we go. There's that one. And you stay where you are. And something like that. That. Something like that. That goes up there. That goes like that. Something like that. You gotta stay there. Alright. Let's get to the skip a tooth. I think I might skip a tooth. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, those are good actually. We'll see. I'm pretty sure that's right. Oh, yeah, I'm always worried about missing a tooth or something, but you'll see once you get it on. You're like, ah, I fucked it up or I didn't. So then you just pull this one. Oh, there's so many wires right here. Oh, come on, come on. Alright, what are we doing here? Does that line up? It does not line up. I think I need to go one tooth other way. Yeah. Let's see. That one. Yeah, that one's definitely off. This one's definitely off. This needs to move one. Okay. Looks better. That's on there. That's on there. That looks good. Alright. I didn't bring a pulley with me. I grabbed a pulley bearing. Pulley tensioner, whatever you call it. Get that on there. Alright, let's get this on there. This is called the tensioner pulley. It pretty much is what tightens the belt And you got your nut and spring washer. Let's get this guy on there. Just gotta sneak it in there. Get up there. You know you want to go up there. All right. Okay. So now, do I need to move that one down? I think I need to move this one down because it's not really lining up too well there. This one there. I cannot remember if it was a little bit low or a little bit high. It makes sense since this one's a little bit high. If that one's a little bit low, so when it rotates, that one will be correct. So we'll see. That's okay. Down. Let's see. Sorry about that. I cannot remember where this one likes to sit. I remember this one because this one's straight up and this one's a little bit cockeyed with the belt coming out. These are a little funnier. That lines up at there, that lines up at there. Let's see. Let me see my handy dandy thingamabobber. That's pretty close, but is it above? Below? As it rotates through. I'm pretty sure that's it. But I'm just gonna put a washer on it. It's just kind of tough since these marks are quite big. Gives you a bit of variance. There's not an exact line, because if it was a mechanical with a chain, you can have an exact line or a mark that's very small. It's a dot, but there's a variance of the dot. There's a line for it, but I don't know. I think it's good. I think that line's a little bit lower. This one's a little bit lower. Let's see. If I move this down here, it'll totally not line up. You know, it lines up pretty good. Oh, it pulls down. Let's see. Oh man. Fucking gassing it up over here. Alright, we need a 22. Remember that. And you can't do this job without offset wrenches. You have to have offset wrenches because they have to go in the pulley. So remember that knowledge? Counterclockwise, because if you do clockwise, it starts to push the belts together. So you can tension it that way, but the belts will be touching and you'll fuck up your belts on the first start. So don't do that. Just don't do that. Now we're gonna do the ghetto tensioning technique that I've seen on forums, that they just kind of say, push it till it gets to the top there. And seems to be good. Something like that. All right. All right. That 10, that's a 12. And I have 12 down here. Still good on tension. And just use your thumb, kind of push it up. This is just initial tension. That shouldn't move. That looks like okay tension. Let's see. We got the timing mark there lined up. Timing mark there lined up. Timing mark there lined up. This timing mark is okay. This timing mark is okay. Yes, this is okay. Because if I were to move this down, that wouldn't be good. I think that's good. I think it's time that we do a slow rotation of the motor. Alright, slow rotation. You'll see this pop up, this screwdriver. Now it's just to help me see what the piston's doing. Right, there we go. Sweet. You guys get to see the belts move. I'm going to be on the other side manually turning over the motor just to make sure everything's kind of doing okay. Because, I mean, we did just put everything back together. We'll see. Alright, so both spark plugs are out. 1, 2. Everything takes right there. It's good. It's fine. That's fine. Everything's covered up. All valves are covered. Everything's snugged up. I'll undo that stuff. Yeah, let's see what we're doing here. Okay, line up on the top there. Line up on the top there. Alright, so I'm just gonna slowly turn this over. That should still crank. Take your finger. Well, it really does like that. Very smooth, actually. You know, what's funny is the first time I rebuilt this, I just put oil because I couldn't find, we had just moved, and I just put oil on all the cam lobes and stuff. It was like, oh, oil. But once I found my assembly gel from that driven assembly gel, like before I'm cranking this, I guess I can feel resistance even with the spark plugs out and everything. But now, since all of them have that assembly gel on it, I literally have my 2 fingers pinched like this on this turning wheel, and I'm just barely turning it, and it's turning with such ease. So I attribute that to good valve timing now, as well as that lubrication. It looks like it's rolling over quite happily. Let me find the top dead center again. Right there, I think. You guys tell me. Looking for. Alright, so it's not there. It's the next time around. I have whatever measurements for the cranks. Let's see. Looks like that goes like that. Here, come on there. That is actually lined up there. That's lined up there. So the mark should be right there. I'm looking at that. Yeah, there it is. I don't know what that other mark is. Okay, that stuff is perfect. On that side, perfectly lined up. Let's see what we have here. Let's see what we got, people. That one's the same. That one's good. This one looks good. This one is off, but I think it's good. Alright. So now, what I have to do is I have to check the tension and that requires me to use a phone. So, I think that's where this live ends, and I gotta go to bed. It's 11. I wanted to be in bed before 12, because, you know, I gotta wake up at 6 something in the morning, and it's not fun getting very, very little sleep. But anyways, guys, for the 5 of you in here, thank you for hanging out. Check it out. There's a Ducati 996 we're working on, and see the next project over there. That's a Ducati 748. But I'm gonna let you guys go. I have to pick up my junk, and we'll do another live tomorrow night when I'm buttoning this thing up. So if you guys like this content, or if you've left and come back and you like this, leave a like. Go check out my main channel's videos if you like motorcycle rebuild content. I have a couple good bikes rebuilt on there. My newest one, my S1000, it's doing really well. A lot of people have loved that. It's like one of the best bikes on the market right now, so everybody was excited to see that thing rebuilt. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Next time we see this, it'll be all the same. We'll just get everything tightened up, buttoned up. We'll get the throttle bodies on, and then that's where the fun begins, because we have to test the throttle bodies, balance the throttle bodies, and make sure this thing runs without having an intake backfire. That was the main goal of this thing, but I went a little too OCD and I checked all the valves, checked everything. So yeah, and redid some stuff along the way. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll tune in tomorrow night, probably around, I don't know, 7:30, 8. So if you guys want to just come hang out and watch me wrench, just let me know. All right, guys, you have a good night. We're peacing out. See you guys.